Unprecedented times. We hear this phrase a lot. Born in the wake of 9/11, childhood in the 2008 recession, finishing high school during a global pandemic. For some of us, this weekend is our first graduation ceremony. But we don't live in unprecedented times. In my first week at Yale, I was randomly paired with a first-year advisor. His name is Henry Sam Chauncey, a longtime Yale administrator who worked alongside Yale President Kingman Brewster during some of the most tumultuous years in Yale's history. The first day we met, he gave me his book about May Day, and from that moment, my experience at Yale was shaped by a deeper understanding of the history around me. Meeting Sam made Yale's history feel even closer. Just over 50 years ago, the student body was going through a monumental change. From mostly white prep school boys to a more diverse class with more Black students, Jewish students, financial aid, and for the first time in Yale's history, women. This fundamentally changed the student body. In the early 70s, student activism was at an all-time high. They were protesting the Vietnam War, protesting the quota that kept women in Yale College outnumbered 7-1, advocating for the start of the African American Studies major, speaking up about sex discrimination when few were willing. Yale students stepped up when thousands of protesters came to New Haven to rally support for the 9 Black Panther Party members facing trial at May Day. The more I learned about Yale history, the more I saw the synchronicities. The weight of our cyclical histories has both haunted and empowered me. In 1973, Roe v. Wade legalized abortions. In my sophomore year at Yale, Roe v. Wade was overturned. In the 80s, Yale students launched an encampment on Beinecke Plaza to protest Yale's investment in apartheid, a moment that was chastised at the time, but now largely remembered as being on the right side of history. In our time at Yale, more than 1,000 students participated in the encampments in the same place, protesting Yale's investment in weapons used in the Israel-Hamas war. Throughout history, Yale students have been the force moving Yale from the past to a more equitable present. In my lunches with Chauncey, I'd seek his wisdom, and he'd often repeat one of Kingman Brewster's favorite lines: "Today's radical ideas are tomorrow's gospel." Today's radical ideas are tomorrow's gospel. Driven by Chauncey's stories, I kept researching Yale history, diving into the archives, at first with no plan. My work culminated in a thesis project about Elga Wasserman, the administrator who facilitated coeducation with Chauncey and fought to end sex discrimination in admissions and hiring at Yale. As I interviewed the first women through my project, their stories felt incredibly close. Years apart, we vent to our roommates, struggle to fit in, and cry of homesickness in the same place. We are sleeping in their beds. Think back to the person you were when you got here. In the last few years, we've all changed immensely. But when we got here, we didn't think we belonged. A lot of us struggled with imposter syndrome, asking ourselves, does this mean I have to do something great with my life? At first, I found this feeling incredibly crushing, but the first women felt this too. The New York Times ran a story calling them superwomen. Professors would save the last 5 minutes of class just for the women's point of view. Chauncey told me stories of how they selected this first class of women that would enroll in the fall of 1969. survival characteristics. They knew there would be immense pressure. We've all felt this pressure in different ways. In my sophomore year, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. I went through surgeries and chemotherapy here at Yale New Haven Hospital while struggling to stay in school. I benefited from years of medical advancements and received a level of care I'm not sure I could have received anywhere else. Suddenly, I was exactly where I was meant to be. I felt an immense gratitude for Yale, and by May 2023, I was in remission. Though I still had the scars, the smooth head, and chemo brain, I felt lucky to be alive. So lucky that I felt guilty. As a young person beginning to navigate the start of my life and career, the fact that I'd overcome cancer only compounded my battle with perfectionism. It wasn't enough to simply make art or exist. It had to be incredible because I got to live. I felt that I had to make my life worth something. In these difficult moments, I turned to the stories of the students before me. We don't live in unprecedented times. Yale students have lived through moments of profound change and found the strength to use their voices. Their stories empowered me as I went through my own transformation, and I will forever remember that it was here at Yale that I beat cancer. Our time will be marked by our own historic moments. We entered on the heels of COVID. We moved in during a hurricane. We toasted our classmates competing in the Olympics, enrolled in the first ever Cherokee language class at Yale, cheered as the women's hockey team won their first ever Ivy League championship. We celebrated when the Middle Eastern and North African Cultural Center was born. We gathered when Russia invaded Ukraine, and we watched the Supreme Court overturn affirmative action. 44 of our classmates were arrested for protesting on their own campus. And now, academic freedom is on the line. In a world with so much conflict, the pressure to do something impactful will never go away. But we can't let it paralyze us. We are equipped with knowledge from some of the top scholars in the world. We've built friendships across diverse backgrounds and generations. We're armed with problem-solving skills, leadership, and grit. The biggest lesson I've taken from Yale's history is that we do have a responsibility to the generation after us. But it's something we do every day. Say something. Maybe it's through art, research, science, technology. Maybe it's just in the moments you have a conversation with someone you disagree with. Maybe it's the way you build community. Problem solving and leadership can happen at any scale, and oftentimes the largest impact is at the community level. President Kingman Brewster said, "Most students are smart enough to know there are no easy answers, but they would like their elders to admit their questions are real. The stakes are terribly high for those who will, by the simple passage of time, inherit the earth, are now at the crossroads." To our elders, share your wisdom, invite new ideas, and trust us to do the work. And to the class of 2025, as we move into the next stages of our lives, it may feel like we have no roadmap for the next stages ahead. Look to history as your North Star. Look to the Yaleys before us who have had the tough conversations. Look to the generations that gave us the foundation and take the time to listen to their stories. These are not unprecedented times. Listen for the echoes of their histories and carry your story to the generations beyond us.